afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Inside the College. I'm Dr. Maggie McMenamin, president of Union County College. We have an exciting show for you today, and the first part of our show is all about a new initiative at Union County College. Our students, several of our engineering students, have been accepted, the only college students in New Jersey and only one of 3 community colleges in the nation who have been accepted into a NASA competition in Houston. They've designed something, and I'm going to let them tell you more about it. So I'll introduce our guests and then let them take it over. First, I'm going to start with our faculty, and they are Professor Jennifer Ebert, who is a professor of engineering and physics, and Professor Nick Gilbert, one of the senior members of our faculty here at Union County College, also a professor of physics and engineering. Thank you, Professors Ebert and Gilbert, for being here and for leading these scholars on this initiative. We have Mike from Westfield, Dimitri from Summit, and Antonio from Cranford. And I'm going to lead with Dimitri. Let's start with you. Tell us about this initiative. What are you doing, and what does it have to do with NASA?
So NASA came up with the competition, and they basically have students design different inventions, different things.
Are they for space?
They're for space, yeah.
Okay.
So everything designed is going to be used in the next 2024 Artemis space mission. So we picked a lunar coring drill, which is a drill to basically extract a piece of the moon. And the idea was that we have to come up with a design, or rather technological paper, explaining every aspect of the design, and then submit it. And
so who wrote the paper? Did you write, Antonio, did you write it?
Mike did.
Mike wrote the paper.
I did. I wrote most of the paper. Okay. At first, I've sort of discovered this through another NASA program that I did that also Antonio is now participating in also, called the NCOS program, NASA Community College Aerospace Scholars. So after I got back, I was looking for other opportunities, and I found this one. So, I knew immediately I wanted to make a drill, and, our team was created shortly after.
So Antonio, what was your role in the process?
My role was helping Mike with the design process of it. So basically, the hard part of this design is that when you're in outer space and you're drilling, you have to get rid of like the dust particles.
Yeah, you usually have like the dust bag attached to.
Yeah, usually you put water, and then the water clears out the dust, so it doesn't clog up. So then I was helping Mike with that design, so we decided to put flutes in, which is like, you know how in guns there's rifling in it?
Yes.
So like the dust will go through the rifling and come out.
And where does it go when it comes out?
Into space.
Into space.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right.
That's the beauty of space too. The lowered gravity, it's going to mean easier chip clearing, and so it should make for a little bit easier
So it won't put a bunch
process.
of sawdust on the floor.
Not on the floor right away, yeah.
Sawdust and particles out into space.
Ideally, yes.
So, Dimitri, what was your part in this process?
Same thing. I helped create the design, helped write the research paper. Now that we have been accepted into the competition, NASA actually wants us to promote the program and actually talk about it. So we plan on going out to our high schools, all the high schools around, and actually give presentations about this program. So hopefully the students in those high schools are going to get involved in the future.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now this is, when you go to NASA, what happens when you get a NASA, National Aeronautics Space Administration, right? I just want to make sure we're talking about NASA in Houston, not NASA Long Island.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. We're talking about Houston.
No,
all right.
Yeah, it's the legit one.
Good.
Yeah.
So you have another partner in this process also. Is there not a 4th student?
Yes.
And who is that?
We do. He couldn't make it today. His name is Bruce Aranda, and he helped with the design. He's going to be helping a lot with the testing portion to come in the next few months as well. So that's one thing in common amongst all of us is we're doing a lot of work together and also on the same parts. As we're getting into the building of it, we're sort of specializing our roles more. But up until now, we've sort of all been working together.
Okay, so
a fair
it's
amount.
Dimitri, Antonio, Mike, and Bruce
Yes.
on this project. So when you get to Houston, And we've already talked a little offline about visiting Galveston, maybe. When you
Hopefully.
get to Houston, what will happen there? I mean, you wrote the paper, you designed this drill, and they want you to visit high schools in our community. But what actually happens when you get to Houston, Antonio?
So we're actually going to test our device that we're actually creating. It's going to be tested at it's called the Neutral Buoyancy Lab.
So it's like a zero
It's
gravity.
a giant pool,
Yeah.
and then they just put expensive stuff in there and then just start drilling, basically.
Good.
So they're going to drill our stuff, and then at the end of it, they're going to choose who has the best design. They might get components of everybody's design and put it into together, and then send it up to the moon.
So all the schools who have been invited into this competition, students at each one of them design different drills?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's confidential. We don't know what they.
Amongst the 30 schools, there's 5 different projects. So there's, I think, 4 other colleges with drills. And we're all being tested on the same test week. So that'll be like the core focus, I guess you could say.
Professor Gilbert,
Yes.
what do you think? I mean, I'm impressed. I think everybody out there's impressed. We're all stunned.
I'm very impressed.
4 kids from Union County going to Houston to demonstrate something for NASA.
So I have to give you credit for this. I think you were pushing research at the Institute here, and with Dr. Jones really bringing it to a focus there. So I believe that this is kind of an outcome of that. Actually, Michael was in a UCC 101 class, and a previous NASA scholar who had gone through this, her name was Sylvia, came in and gave a talk to the class. And that's how Michael became interested in it there. I just have to say, this September, Michael walked into the office and was looking for a professor to be a mentor for this. So he went to Professor Ebert.
And Professor Ebert, what did you say when he did that?
I sent it to Professor Gilbert.
She said, I'm working on a robotic arm at this point. Why don't you speak with Professor Gilbert there? So
And then what happened?
He did, and we submitted it. And I said to myself, well, you know, it was a good try, because I looked at all the teams we're competing against there.
Schools
Like Columbia, like Cornell,
UPenn.
like Emory-Riddle.
Emory-Riddle,
So they're major engineering schools, and I did not feel we had a chance there. But I've been proven wrong.
So do these 4 young men, Bruce, Michael, Dimitri, and Antonio, are they just exceptional, and the other 10,000 students here are just regular brains, or
Exactly.
did they represent
are.
Exactly, Antonio?
We are.
So talk to me. Where are they? Do you have other students like this?
I think they're coming up there. I think a lot of it is the individuals, and Michael was a main focus there, and it's the enthusiasm of the project. They've been great. They're really working tremendously hard. I'm doing nothing. I'm sitting back
That's
and
not
just,
true.
you know.
We cheerlead.
Enjoying the show.
Gilbert has helped
Yes.
us every step of the way. That's you both have. They're integral parts of the process. Don't let them undersell.
Professor
Yeah.
Ebert, how's the arm, the mechanical arm?
You know, they were all on the arm also.
They all work
Yeah.
on the mechanical arm also?
They showed up in my introduction to engineering class, and they're the best students. I'm not gonna lie. The engineers are awesome at this college, and as soon as you give them just even a little bit to work on, they run with it and exceed expectations.
The engineering program at Union County College, though, is not new, Professor Gilbert. I mean, the Elmer Wolf engineering program
Yes.
has a long history for opportunity and excellence.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You were here in the days when Professor Wolf was here,
I was, yes.
and his legacy lives on.
It does, absolutely.
And you got to talk to these guys about Professor Wolf.
I
He was-
have. In fact, the gentleman, Mr. Gibson, who donated money to have it, we had Michael write him a letter there requesting
Good.
some funds to help us with that.
I know that
so
Jim Gibson said that Elmer Wolf changed his life.
He did. He did.
and gave them an opportunity. And these guys are getting the opportunity of a
Yeah,
lifetime.
we're whipping them into shape.
I doubt that, but they're getting an opportunity of a lifetime because of the work that you're doing in the classroom. Professor Gilbert, Professor Ebert, thank you for everything you do to guide these students in this incredible process.
Thank you,
I'm going to
Dr.
go back to you
McMenamin.
guys now. All right, well, so, Antonio, first of all, what's your last name?
Mena.
Mena. Antonio Mena from Cranford.
Exactly.
5 years, where are you going to be?
Oh, I'm gonna be working at NASA,
All right.
or hopefully working for NASA.
He is in the American Honors Program
An
at this
honor
point.
scholar.
Yes.
All right. And where do you want to go after you leave Union County College?
I want to go to University of Southern California.
USC.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, California dreaming right here from
Exactly.
Cranford. Good luck, and I'm sure you'll get there. Dimitri, what's your last name?
Govden.
Govden.
Yeah.
And where are you going to be in 5 years?
I honestly don't know.
Well, where do you want to go after you leave Union County College?
After Union County College, I want to get a master's in mechanical engineering, and I might want to go in automotive engineering because I generally enjoy working on cars. So
Okay.
that might be what I want to do in the future, but I'm still, I'm not sure, to be
Not
honest.
sure. All right.
I'm still a freshman.
How about you, Mike?
In 5 years, I'm definitely going to I'm probably going to be in school getting my bachelor's at that point. I've got a little bit more
5
time
years?
to go before my associates is over, and then, the 4 year.
And where do you want to
ideally.
go for your bachelor's? What do you think?
When I came here, it was Rutgers. It still is, but I think I might also be considering North Carolina State. Those are pretty much my two
NC
because
State.
I got family down there.
I think
yeah.
that's in Raleigh. I'm not sure.
I think so.
Raleigh. I
Not
think
sure,
so.
but
Good.
yeah.
Wonderful. We're very impressed with you. We want you to excel, to do great things. Our mission here is all about transforming our community one student at a time. And we have 4 engineering scholars who are definitely going to transform this community and maybe transform outer space. You never know with what they're doing here. Union County College students and engineering faculty have been selected to participate in a competition in Houston, Texas, sponsored by NASA, the National Aeronautic and Space Administration. And the college is currently, the foundation of the college is currently raising funds to help sponsor their trip to Houston. And we wish you guys the best of luck. We hope you win the competition, and we hope that it's a Union County College drill that ends up on the moon, pulling out lunar samples. This is one example of the great work of our faculty and the incredible scholarship of our students. And we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Inside the College. I'm Dr. Maggie McMenamin, president of Union County College. My guest for the second half of our show today is the new acting prosecutor of Union County, Lindsay Rotolo. Welcome, acting prosecutor Rotolo.
Thanks so much for having me.
We're thrilled to have you here, and we're thrilled also to learn more about you and about your initiatives in the prosecutor's office.
Thanks, I'm happy to share.
All right, well, there's been a lot of turnover in the prosecutor's office, and I guess you've
Right.
been there for 6 months in that capacity, is that right?
True. I am the 6th or 7th prosecutor in about 2 years, but acting prosecutor in that time.
We're hoping that you're there to stay for a while.
Thanks very much.
We're looking forward to learning more about your initiatives, but before we go there, let's learn more about you. Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up here in Union County. I went to public schools in Westfield, and my family is from Union County, so born and raised Union County girl.
When you were in high school at Westfield, were you dreaming about, I can't wait to become the prosecutor of Union County? What was your dream at that point?
So in high school, I had kind of shifted gears, but even earlier than that, I had dreamed, this is the job I dreamed of having as like an 11-year-old, because it's the job I was exposed to, it's the job my father had, and I saw the impact that he could have and the change that he can make that's
So
positive.
for our viewers,
Sure.
they might have heard your name, Lindsay Rotolo, and they said, that name sounds familiar. So you're telling me that you had the job that your father had.
That's right, yeah. Both my parents were public servants in service to Union County during parts of their careers. My dad is prosecutor, my mom in county government. And so I grew up exposed to it, and public service was sort of like a genetic predisposition, and criminal prosecution was something that everybody in my house was pretty passionate about, and something that I grew up dreaming of doing, but kind of took a 10 to 15 year detour from it before really pursuing it. And
You were at Westfield High School.
I was at Westfield
When you
High
were at
School.
Westfield, were you still thinking about being a prosecutor then, or
I
what?
had sort of changed. My passion had been to drawn to theater and acting and the arts. And
Well, I guess
so,
law sometimes in a courtroom could be theatrical.
yeah, I often find that that acting degree comes in a little bit handier in front of a jury than the law degree. But both are necessary for the job. But yeah.
Where'd you go undergrad?
I went to the Tisch School at NYU.
And you were majoring in.
in drama.
in
so
drama.
Stage acting, yeah.
So this is an unusual route for. I mean, if we polled every county prosecutor.
Yeah, not too many
Not
have
too
gone this
many.
route, but I find that a lot of the people I went to school with, for a lot of my art friends, have gone into professions that are in the service of others. So I think whatever draws people to public service is akin to what draws people in the arts, right? The arts are a way to reflect the feelings of the community, and public service is a way to actually reach out and impact and address the feelings that the community has.
Do you think majoring in theater helps you in your work today? In all seriousness?
Yeah, I mean, certainly when I was a trial lawyer for the majority of my career as a lawyer, and that was definitely useful. I mean, just being comfortable and being able to hide nerves in front of a jury is a good skill to have, and something that an actor has. Yeah, I do think it serves as a litigator.
Did you ever work in theater, work in acting?
I did. I mean, I had to have another job that paid for, rent. But I did. I did. I lived in the city for 10 years doing acting.
Stage acting.
Yeah.
On Broadway, off Broadway?
Off.
Off Broadway? I'm a fan of the theater, so this is really
Yeah.
fascinating
No,
to me.
it's great.
So what made you, you think about when you're young, real young, you're 11, you're thinking, I'm going to be an attorney, I'm going to be like my dad, I'm going to be a prosecutor, I'm going to be an attorney. Then you go off into theater, and you go to NYU, one of the greatest schools in the country. You major in theater, you work in theater.
Yeah.
What happened? How'd you get called back to the courtroom?
Honestly, I was living in downtown Manhattan in September 11th, and I saw the impact crime and violence can have on a community. And I was brought back to the days of driving along to work with my dad, and I thought that I could be doing more. I could be doing more to give back. I can be doing more in service to my community. And so I went to law school with the expectation that I'd be a criminal prosecutor. I graduated at a time when that was not available, but a great law firm job came about.
Where'd you go to law school?
I went to New York Law in
New York
Tribeca.
law. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Our students always ask, how did you get to where you are? So
Yeah.
you're on another, this is an extended path. You have that successful career in the theater, you go to law school, a great law school, New York Law, then you start working in a private law firm.
Yeah, and again, kind of that call to service. I loved litigating, which I was able to do at my firm, but I knew that this was always what I wanted to do. And I mean, as your students know, there's student debt. I should have gone to a community school for a couple of those years, but I didn't.
We could have saved you
yeah.
about $80,000.
It would be great. But so I eventually the draw to public service was too great, and I left my firm and actually joined this prosecutor's office as a line assistant prosecutor for about 5 years, and then left to go be a federal prosecutor. And then when called to come back,
When Governor Murphy called, you said yes.
well, Attorney General Graywall asked me to come in as an acting, so I'm not appointed. I'm in an acting capacity, and really privileged and honored to do the job.
So tell me, let's talk about, first let's get this one question. People always ask me, your title is acting, but prosecutor. What's the difference between a prosecutor and a district attorney?
So nothing really, other than, so some states the district attorney is elected. Here in New Jersey, they're appointed by the governor, confirmed by the Senate, and that keeps sort of politics out of
The legal
criminal
system?
prosecution and the
Thank
justice
God.
system. So, you know, no fault on the states that elect it, but we don't call it a district attorney, we call it a county prosecutor. But it is the same thing. You are, so the Attorney General is the chief law enforcement officer of the state. Every county prosecutor serves in that capacity for their county.
We've had the Attorney General, General Graywall, was
Graywall.
here on our campus a couple months ago.
I was in the audience.
It was an honor to host him here and
Incredible.
to see the work that he's doing across the state of New Jersey. Certainly, we're proud of it. We're proud
he's
of
a
it.
tremendous leader, and I'm really honored to serve under him.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. Tell me
Yeah.
about your initiatives. What do you do? We've had great prosecutors in Union County. You're in a long line. Certainly, your dad's among them. Ted Romanko, Grace Park was spectacular. We've just had some wonderful prosecutors.
I've been really lucky.
Yes,
so.
we have been. So tell me about your initiatives, though. I know new people come in, they want to put their stamp on things. So what do you have
Yeah,
going?
I mean, I definitely came in with a vision and priorities, and first and foremost, I thought it was really important to remember that we're public servants and that community engagement and rebuilding the community trust is vital to everything we do. So that's really been a push. We've created new positions that help facilitate that. We created a countywide director of police policy and planning and training to enhance the training available to our officers, because I think we should have the best police force in the state, and a better trained police force is one that the community can trust more. We've also hired a community outreach manager to really formalize our outreach. We're going to do a Kids Spreading Kindness campaign in our public schools. We're going to reach out in more effective ways to veterans and the LGBTQ community, and really have a presence in the community, because just because you serve the community doesn't mean you cease to be a part of it. So that was a big push that we're kind of in the midst of now. And then on the law enforcement side of it, there are really two big things that I think needed addressing in Union County, and one of them is, of course, the opioid epidemic. You know, in the past 5 years, we've lost over 500 of our friends and neighbors here in Union County to that really incredibly...
It's tragic.
Yeah.
It's tragic.
It's just, it touches everyone. And so last week we were able to announce that we've expanded upon a program that General Graywall had started when he was Bergen County prosecutor and has rolled out statewide. And what we've done is we have made it possible for every arrest of a possessory level offense in Union County, at the time of the arrest, the individual will be given an opportunity to get recovery assistance right then and there through their police officer.
So instead of going to prison, to jail, to get booked, they go to rehab.
Well, there's a step, right? We can't stop enforcing the law. So they have to go to headquarters and get processed. But at the earliest point, like whether it's on scene while they're being transported back to headquarters or processed, there's a call made to a hotline, and a recovery coach can respond to headquarters while they're being processed and meet with them then. So it's not in lieu of the criminal justice system. It's just we see this as an opportunity to reach people when they need help the most, and why not link them with those services?
Sure. One might say that when you're arrested for possession, you may have hit rock bottom and you may be ready for help.
Right, and we've found that to be true. We've been doing Operation Helping Hand for a week-long initiative.
That's what it's called?
It's Operation Helping Hand 24/7, 365.
Wonderful.
So we really hope that that has an impact and saves lives here in Union County, and then eventually can serve as a model for the state. I also, of course, want to see a reduction in violence crime. Violent crime is sort of what I did as a AP and what I did in the federal government.
AP?
Assistant prosecutor,
Okay.
sorry.
All right. It's anatomy
I
and
was on the
physiology
line.
here.
I know, I'm
No,
sorry.
go ahead.
No, it's not that.
Okay.
So for me, that's really important, and I think there are ways that we can collaborate with our municipal partners, and we've developed an intelligence liaison program countywide and created a major crimes division with an intel-driven unit that's going to start tracking intelligence countywide for the groups that are most responsible for violence, so hate groups, gang activity and drug trafficking
So
groups.
we're really going high tech in this
Yeah, there's
intelligence
definitely a
initiative?
high-tech component, and then some of it's just street smart, street cop but sharing that intelligence, because the criminals don't know the difference between the the city lines and the county lines. Why should our police department? So by having a liaison to this group, we can really be proactive in sharing information. And
So even small municipalities with fewer resources and smaller police departments get access to the high-tech intelligence of the county prosecutor.
yes, not only to our high-tech capabilities, but also to our manpower. So there's a whole dedicated group of detectives who are, some of our elite detectives who are proactive group. Instead of just reacting to crime, we're going to be proactive in preventing it. And the hope is to see a reduction in guns on our streets and violence.
So your initiatives, re-engaging with the community, dealing with through helping hands with the opioid crisis, from a rehabilitative perspective as well as a justice perspective, and then finally major crimes collaboration with all of the municipalities.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a lot on your plate right now.
Actually, all three of those are already up and running. So now it's on to the next thing, which is an expansion of our Child Advocacy Center. So we were one of the first counties in the state to have a dedicated advocacy
I
center.
remember when that got opened. I remember that opening.
My dad started it when he was prosecutor, and it served as a national model. And then we outgrew the little house, and Prosecutor Romenko helped the county acquire a new huge facility, and it offers wraparound services to, victims of pretty horrific, unimaginable crimes.
Child victims, so that they don't have to go through the.
They'll never go to a police station.
Fantastic.
And it's not that our local police can't do it; they most certainly can. They're wonderful detectives and officers, but we have, services in-house, and they never have to see anybody in uniform, and they never have to be re-traumatized. They get to talk to people who are trained to talk to them, who have toys in the office, and
Sure.
it's a
Makes a
different.
difference.
Yeah, it's a home. You walk into a home.
Sounds like a lot of exciting things happening in law enforcement and in the prosecutor's office in Union
We're really
County.
trying.
We have a very police-friendly campus and college here. Many of the police officers in Union County got their start here at Union County College. We have a criminal justice program that is led by Captain Jim Russo and Captain John Arezzi from the East
Yeah.
Orange Police Force and from your office.
Captain Russo was there when I was line AP. He's wonderful.
Yeah, he's terrific. And
He's great.
we
so.
recently, and we also have Chief of Police from Cranford, Ryan Greco, is on our Board of Governors, and he recently hosted a Coffee with the Cop event here on campus.
Oh, that's
And we're
wonderful.
hoping to expand that to our other campuses in Plainfield, in Elizabeth, and Scotch Plains. It was successful in that it's just like you're pushing for greater communication between law enforcement and the community, because we're all in this together. We want a safe Union County, certainly a safe Union County College, and we know as our chief law enforcement officer, we thank you for your leadership in these initiatives. You're making a difference already.
Thanks. And if we could partner, we'll send some detectives to a coffee with a cop.
We love it. We love it. So we'll set
That'd be
that
great.
up.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for visiting with us today at Union County College. We're excited about all the new things coming out of the prosecutor's office under your leadership.
Thank you, Dr. Allen.
My guest for this segment of the show has been Acting Prosecutor of Union County, Lindsay Rotolo. You know that name. Her father, Andrew Rotolo, was a prosecutor at the county a couple decades ago, but his name remains on that building, and we remember your dad and loved him, and now we can't wait to see the great things you'll be doing. Thank you for joining me this month on Inside the College. We look forward to seeing you next month. I'm Dr. Maggie McMenamin. Have a great month.